Welcome back to Hi Guys, it's your boy BDR and I'm back with another class overview. Now for today's video I have a class overview of Lycan. Now Lycan came out, October of 2014, excuse me, mainly to just be a PvP stun class. And when it first came out, it was, quick to be one of the best PvP classes, mainly due to its fifth skill stun, the Howl of Terror. I'll go over that a little later. Due to it, having a stun, it could nuke, basically stun your opponent for either 2, 3, 4, 6 seconds. Let me just see, yeah. Yep, 2, 3, 4, or 6 seconds. That's more than enough time to basically demolish the opponent in record time. So ever since then, years have progressed. We've gotten way better PvP classes, and Lycan kind of just, fell off, and it was shoved into everyone's bank. Well, in today's video, I decided to, take it out of my bank and do an overview on it. So yeah, let's get started with, how to obtain Lycan. Alright, so how to obtain Lycan? You have to, /join the Lycan map, huh? You want to talk to this dude called Fopa. He is the reputation vendor. And when you reach rank 10 Lycan, you could basically buy it for free. There's also other, stuff as well, but we're not gonna get through that. So yeah, that's basically how you can obtain Lycan, just rank 10 Lycan. There are some daily quests. All you have to do is just, spam, dailies and spam these quests with reputation boosts. You should be just fine. Especially now with like Ascended and all these different boosts, you should get to rank 10 Lycan fairly easily. Now we got that out of the way, let's talk about the skills of the class. So we have Lycan, how it regens mana. Lycans gain mana when they strike an enemy in combat or are struck by an enemy in combat. Wow, this thing doesn't have no rank 10 passive, already off to a bad start. Yeesh, a 2014 class, by the way. We have the first skill, Savagery, 15 mana, 4-second cooldown, physical, medium range, 1 target. You tap into your beastly nature and apply 1 stack of instinct for 6 seconds, increasing physical outgoing damage by 5% per stack, stacks to 5. Also applies a stacking heal over time for 15 seconds. The rank 2 skill, Thrill of Battle, 6-second cooldown, medium range target that deals damage to 1 target. It applies Endless Hunt if Keystone Predator is active, which increases your crit chance, crit damage, and dodge chance by 15%. Your rank 3 skill, which is basically your nuke, Pouncing Strike, 30 mana, 20-second cooldown, physical, long range, 1 target. Kicking them to the head, causing them to be really dizzy, reducing critical strike chance by 50, and dodge chance by 30% for 20 seconds. If the opponent was stunned by Howl of Terror, increases their incoming damage by either 15, 20, 25, or 30% proportional to the length of their stun. The rank 4 passive, Lean Muscle, haste increased by 15, and crit chance increased by 15%. Thick Fur, damage taken reduced by 15%, and the rank 5 skill, Howl of Terror, shaking them to their core, applies Keystone Predator, which increases outgoing damage by 15% for 15 seconds. Also applies when a 4 stuns lasting either 2, 3, 4, or 6 seconds. 20 mana, 12-second cooldown, long range, 1 target. Based on what we can say right now, you mainly want to start off with your Howl of Terror and then, just spam your skills. Because everything really just applies on, applying Keystone Predator to your opponent so you can get more buffs. Alright, now we got that out of the way, let's move on to combos and enhancement. Alright guys, so here's the build that we're going to rock with Lycan. It is a power melee class. Now, for the weapon option, between this and Smite, I just found, more DPS with Ravenous rather than Smite, because Smite does activate on the 5th skill, and the 5th skill doesn't really do that much, damage. Lucky, because obviously this class needs to crit. Lament, because, this class loves to crit, and, you want to increase your crit chances with this class. And, Anima for, that 10% hit chance as well for more DPS. Also, side note, I did complete, the forge capes, so you guys can have like, so I can increase the quality of the overviews, a tad bit. So, did it for you guys. Whatnot, unlocked all the forge capes, so yeah, class overviews could have like a tad bit better quality. Now we got that out of the way, for your combo, you're gonna want to do 5, 4, and 2, 3, and just spam 2 and 3. So this class is my bad. So this class's, main thing is this Keystone Predator, whatnot. In terms of DPS, I mean, this class has like DPS, like alright DPS. This is with like forge enhancements, by the way. This class has like okay DPS, but it isn't really anything to really go crazy about. You see what I mean by how the Terror doing that critical 0 and whatnot. This class, its DPS could be better, but when they made this class back in 2014, I think it was originally intended to be like soloing, low HP bosses, like bosses that are kind of like around like under 100k and whatnot. Thankfully, Ravenous is active, so we are, increasing our DPS. But yeah, this class is a slow soloer. I mean, it does have good HOTs, increasing hit chance and whatnot. Oh, 17k thanks to Ravenous and whatnot. The crits, getting our mana back. $18k now. So yeah. Overall, it's like, this class is good, it's just that the DPS is pretty bad, I would say. Oh, 20k. Now we're actually getting somewhere, but, it's towards the end of the fight. Like, you really need forge enhancements for this class. Alright, now that we're towards the end, thanks to Ravenous. Alright, here's the analytics right here. So, I would just say, in conclusion, Lycan is a slow soloer, even with forge enhancements. It's even worse if you don't have any forge enhancements. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Lycan in terms of soloing. You know what? Let me find a boss that can get stunned so we could fully utilize Lycan. Alright guys, so we're at a Warhawk challenging the General Drax. Can be stunned. So yeah, let's look at Lycan, against a boss that can be stunned. So with Lycan, as you can see, it can actually, stun. It does have, its stuns are RNG based, at times, you can get, the stun. The dose surprise is the 1 second one. Right here, as you can see right here, disoriented. Doesn't have much animations to really work with. Primal Fear, I think that's the 6 second one as well. And yeah, how it can go. Overall, the stun does, make a difference, getting more time to survive and whatnot. So yeah, but still, Lycan just needs forge enhancements to work, but even then the DPS is, mediocre at times, even with Ravenous. Alright then, let's move on to farming. Alright guys, so in terms of farming, yeah, I don't recommend this class for farming because all of its attacks are single hit targets. So yeah, I recommend, using something else. Alright then, let's move on to survivability. Alright then, so in terms of survivability, I mean, it does have, a series of stun. It can't stun the enemy and whatnot, but you gotta understand that the stuns are RNG based. Like for example, the Dose Surprise is only for like, a couple of seconds and whatnot. Dose Surprise again. So that means with like bad RNG, you can't just, end up getting Dose Surprise. And nowadays, the modern bosses, nowadays, like any like tough meta relevant boss is immune to stun. So basically, in conclusion, it's kind of like in terms of survivability, Lycan, it could survive some cases, but its stuns are completely RNG based, and modern bosses are immune to stun. So it's just like can't really do much in terms of survivability. Alright, then let's move on to support and then final thought. Alright, so in terms of support, Lycan can't really offer much. I mean, with its deteriorating with its pouncing strike, it can reduce critical strike chance by 50% and dodge chance by 30% for 20 seconds. Now, like I said, it can stun, but nowadays modern bosses are immune to stun. So that's mainly, Lycan's bread and butter is applying the stuns, and it can't really do that against modern bosses because they're immune to statuses. So yeah, it can't really do much in terms of support. Now then, the pros about Lycan is that pretty sure it's still a good PvP option, and it has a stun. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I have for pros. The cons about Lycan is that it has no rank 10 passive. Um, its bread and butter is its stun, and majority of bosses nowadays are immune to stun, and that kind of like hinders it in terms of survivability. It basically has little to no survivability if the opponent can't be stunned, and its stuns are RNG based. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I have for cons. Wow, more cons than pros. Really says something. So my final verdict about Lycan is that Lycan, it's it's a nice, stun PvP option. I recommend getting this class if I only recommend getting this class if you like PvP and or if you're a class collector. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much, been it for the Lycan overview. I just gotta ask in the comment section below, like, what is your favorite moment with Lycan? Like, what was the highest damage that you received? What if you were in charge of the dev team, of the class dev team, what changes would you add to it? I mean, first of all, we have to give it its own auto attack, and we have to have it have a rank 10 passive. And I'll just say, like, you're better off just having Howl of Terror just be like a 6-second stun. Get rid of the 2, 3, 4-second ones. And yeah, increase its DPS. That's pretty much what I would do. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much been it for the Lycan class overview. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. And yeah, hi guys, out.